You're going to go hang out with your husband and learn how to do the things. I'm going to let my kids finish this movie. And then
We'll just do this another
I'm going to
day.
get ready for school tomorrow. And
This is hilarious.
oh my gosh,
I'm
Nicole.
glad I didn't wash my hair for this. I
Oh,
did.
it's working. It's working.
Oh, I was like, I'm glad I didn't wash my hair for
Now,
this.
here's the tricky thing to
But I
see
didn't wash
how
it.
much of this was like already part of the video.
I know people are probably watching going,
You
"Oh,
guys, I know
well."
that I make fun of people who are like the grandparents that don't know the internet, but this is the third time, you guys, that we just tried to do this. May might even be the fourth. So if you caught a really awkward part of that video, it's because YouTube doesn't tell you it's going live until you're already there. Bo's laughing at us, Nicole. He says, y'all are good.
Yes, we're on.
From
Now
the
we
other
know.
room. So you know he's sitting there like with like hanging off the side of the bed, like messaging these things because Finley's like, are you
Right.
on your
I'm
phone?
not going to
You see,
sleep.
you
You're not.
have your phone, Dad. You have your phone. He says it hasn't popped up yet. That's funny. Okay, guys. If this isn't the Mondayest Monday of all Mondays, I woke up to ants all over my kitchen. And I'm not talking like the ants went marching 2 by 2. I'm talking like the 99,000 ants went marching battalion by battalion into my kitchen this morning. How was your Monday morning? And y'all, I do not complain about Mondays. They really are my favorite day of the week, but this is for real. All of it, all of the ants in my kitchen. So share your Monday. I don't know. They came out of the outlet, like horror movie style.
No,
out of the outlet, guys.
That's why you had pest control there today.
It was trauma. Yes. And then Nicole and I were preparing for today, this afternoon, and pest control and Bo called at the same time. This should be tequila and sparkling water, and it's just regular water. That's the Monday we've had today.
By the way, I didn't tell you this, but I am not watching the comments, so I need you to ask me the questions.
I will ask you all the questions. And even if there are no questions, we're going to kill this entrepreneur style because entrepreneurs show up and get it done.
That's right.
You know, there's that line on Hamilton where they're like, immigrants, we get the job done. I feel like that about being a mom, a homesteader, an entrepreneur, like follower of Jesus. You just get the job done. And that's what we're going to do tonight, guys. We're going to get the job done because tonight's topic is the happy, productive entrepreneur, using essential oils. When you run your own business, using essential oils as the person, maybe even in charge of other people in your business. I think that's one of those things that gets overlooked. We have a couple of businesses on our team who've asked us to come lunch and learn or talk with their certain departments because it improves productivity when we're using less sugar and caffeine, and we're all happier and we're all kinder, and our office is glad to be there as our office. So on a lot of different levels, whether you run a large company or a small company of just yourself, you can tap into the power of essential oils and healthy rhythms with them to create a business that you love, but also like one that you're excited to be at, right? One that you're excited to, especially in the entrepreneurial world, is always looking for the next thing, either the next step. If you're maintaining the status quo, it's very likely that your business is actually dying. So we're here and we're going to talk with my friend Nicole today, who loves essential oils, but long before essential oils, she was in business for herself. She's been an entrepreneur of 10 years. And that started like back when we were having our babies long, long ago. Nicole was already in photography. And then she even was it Ella's? It was Ella's baby shoot when she was born. And that was like when she was 19, guys. So Nicole's been in this like work for yourself game a long time. She's all about working smarter and not harder, but also in a way that is life-giving. So she's gone completely full-time in her business and entrepreneurship in 2016. And seasonally from, gosh, what was that year, Nicole? Was it about that time with doTERRA?
Yeah, 2014 was when
14. Off and on with doTERRA. And then this year, it's really become this like solid part-time job for her. And now she runs 2 small businesses. She sells doTERRA, writes a blog, all while rocking this mamahood, marriagehood, and ministry. Nicole is not just like a jack of all trades. She's very much intentional and specific about what she gives her time and attention to. So if you are the entrepreneur who has struggled with their mental game, staying on point, or even just keeping track of their time and energy, this is a girl to talk to tonight. So if you're running a small farm, if you are trying this photography thing, right? Becoming Instagram worthy, whatever it is, Nicole is the expert tonight that you don't want to miss asking your questions to. You're going to drop them right here in the chat. And then I will pop in. Nicole and I are kind of like streaming in from another, I guess it's like another web service. So I'm going to ask her your questions, and here's where you drop them. So let us know the things you really want to know about tonight regarding oils and business, how they can make you more productive, more energetic. That was one thing Nick and I were talking about and preparing for tonight. So I want to turn it over to you, Nicole. Thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for your time, for your expertise, and for tackling this topic that is not usually discussed, but I wish more people would, because we have a lot of friends who are self-employed that just drag and maybe have a hard time with doing what they think is motivating their employees, but there's so much more to leadership in regards to how you run a business. And I think oils obviously fall in line with that. So thanks for sharing this tonight, because I think you rock this with the best of them.
Thanks, Kelly. I appreciate that.
It's true.
I definitely don't. I mean, I guess it's humble, but I would not call myself an expert in any of this. I actually, when I was, Kelly had asked me earlier today to send her like just a little bit of my background in my entrepreneur world, and my original bio said, failing forward with grace, because that is literally how I feel every day. And it's not that I walk in this identity or mentality that I'm continually failing. It's just that I cannot do this by myself, number one. You know, I do all of my businesses alone, except for my earring business I have with a partner. It's Nick and Nat. And so it's fun to have, partnership there. But when it comes to just everyday life, like motherhood and blogging and shooting photos and then meeting with customers and teaching classes about oils, like I literally could not do this by myself. So it's all because of Jesus. It's all because of oil, all because of community around me that has spurred me on just to continue walking in just my dreams and goals, and just encouraging me and pushing me forward. And so I just stumble along and figure it out. Every day is different. But I'm grateful for things like essential oils, obviously, to help, me process along the way. And every day give me support that I need in order to actually make it to the end of the day without falling down every day.
Yeah. Or like, how many times do we fall? And really the measurement of success isn't like failure, falling, stumbling. It's what do we do with those things?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people love the idea of time freedom. We talk about this a lot with our business, and I promise, guys, this talk will not be about doTERRA and how to run your doTERRA business, because that's why we went to Nicole, right? But in doTERRA, this like idea of we've got places to go, but in order to get there, we've got to learn what it takes. And then each of those lessons kind of tucks into your little backpack, your toolbox, and then you can move on to do the next thing. So that like falling forward, that failing forward is so helpful because you don't waste your time regretting what isn't working. It
Right.
just becomes part of what you want to produce. So how has that helped you? What do you think is a top obstacle for any entrepreneur when they're getting started, right? It's the diligence to run your own business. But what are those top obstacles that people come up against?
I mean, I say, especially in small businesses and in network marketing, you're usually starting from the ground. And a lot of times you don't have small business loans. You might, and that's so awesome, but I never did. And so, that's the idea of like, I'm just going to do this thing until I figure out what works for me, what people like, and how they respond. And then I'll change it if I need to.
Mm-hmm.
So like in the early days of photography, I just shot like with my Sony Cybershot, like I got
Yes, what you had,
yeah.
right?
And for this coffee shop I worked at, I just was like hobbying during my break time when nobody was coming in for coffee. And the owner of the shop was just like, hey, the pictures of these bottles are really cool. Like you should pursue this as a career. And I was like, okay, thank you. Like it's like, I mean, like I always knew I was creative, but that was just not something that was on my radar
Right.
whatsoever. But he bought me a DSLR camera. It was just like, a Canon Rebel, like something that was very starter. But I took that thing and I said, cool, I think that actually my person is,
You
And
had what you needed. Why not
yeah,
get started, right? Yeah.
exactly. So just using what you have. And for some people, that isn't something tangible like a DSLR camera. For some people, that's their personality and
Mhm.
how they relate with people and how they can sell a product and believe. And that's not even sell a product, it's like believing in something, like
Mhm.
believing in the product that they're actually selling is what is so um like intoxicating to people. They like, okay, you believe that this is going to work. Might. Well, maybe it might, and it's just this, I don't know, mentality that you have. So for me in photography, I had something tangible to start with. For oils,
Mhm.
I also had like my family essentials kit, my 5 milliliter bottles of oils. I just started giving
Mhm.
away to people. Um, but like for
You
something,
get an oil and you get an
yeah,
oil.
right? But for something that might be different, I'm trying to think of like a small business that doesn't like start out with anything that you can actually
Mhm.
depend on. That's just always, the first obstacle is overcoming that. I don't have enough experience. I don't have
Mhm.
enough um, verbiage, or, I don't have enough skills. I don't have enough this, that. That is simply not true. There's always room for growth. There's always room to expand your skill.
Mhm.
And that only comes with practice. And so if you're not doing what you love and what you want to be doing in order
Mhm.
to do something as far as time freedom is concerned, a lot of small business owners don't know what that means, because like me, I probably work at least 30 hours a week on top of
Right.
being a stay-at-home mom.
Yeah.
And so I don't know what that looks like yet for me, but I pray one day I will. And right
Mhm.
now I'm doing the hard thing that it takes
Mhm.
for me to look ahead to see that there is possibility of that happening for our family in
Yeah.
the future. I want to do everything that it takes, and I'm willing to sacrifice whatever it takes in order to get to that spot. So does that make sense?
Mhm.
Does that answer your
Yeah, I
question?
think starting is scary,
Oh yeah.
especially if you've never started a business before. If you do have loans, your risk is high, right? You got to pay that back. If you don't have loans, because we've been on all of these seats in the bus. If you guys don't know, our very first business, Bo started his first business when he was like 17, right? And he'd always worked in his dad's pawn shops growing up. So he's no stranger to hard work. And then I worked my way through college, but I'd always worked for someone else. And his first business was video production outside after we'd graduated college. And he just started wedding videos. And then God was like, all right, this season is done. And we're about to drop a podcast about how like seasons, not only in business, but in family and things like that, change the scope of where you're going or how you're getting there. And I think when he sits there, when we talk about after wedding videos turned into like Christ-centered videos, which was kind of like this avant-garde market. We didn't know what that looked like. We just knew there was a market for it, right? Pastors who needed videos for their sermon illustrations. Or we took that same concept, whatever we'd create for a church, and then put it onto a stock video footage website where other pastors could see it. And then that became residual income. And that was like a light bulb, like, wow, you can create something once that works for you later. And I think what you're saying in regards to having a vision for where it goes and then actually putting the feet to the ground, that's what makes the difference between the dreamers and the doers.
Yeah.
And if you have a dream and you're willing to put risk at it, wisely, I don't think anyone should go into debt just to start their first business that's probably going to fail. You'll probably fail a few times. But to move forward with your foot to the ground towards something, like you said, that you believe in, that's the thing that makes the shift. And that's what keeps most people, if you remember that game, Sorry, you have to roll a certain number just to get onto the playing board. And a lot of us are just waiting for our numbers to roll. And I don't recommend you cheating the game, but like if you're just waiting for someone to give you permission, then it's going to take you a long time if you don't believe in what you're doing before somebody else can step into that. Hey, Gossmania Homestead. Excited that you're on here. That's great. Katie and Michelle, glad you guys are here. That's awesome. Katie in Richmond.
Hey, that's Katie Kupala.
You know Katie. All right. So yeah, I think that's the entrepreneur's dilemma is the getting started. And then it kind of gets a little bit addictive to get started too. So on your day where you have, you've got jewelry, you've got baby, you've got doTERRA, then you've got ministry and whatever other business, photography you've got going on. How do you set your intention for the day before you begin and then keep those things in their lanes, right? Because all of a sudden we can look like a spaghetti bowl and we don't know where one strand begins and one ends. But if you're able to put intention to each of those businesses, or maybe do you block your time? What does that look like for you? And what would you give as an encouragement to people who want to do this business, but they're in this like analysis paralysis where they just can't even take this step forward because there's so many places you could begin?
Sure. So this has been the biggest learning piece for me in being an entrepreneur. I struggled for years and years about how to manage my time well. And the only reason why I'm able to maintain my doTERRA business at the very moment is because I have done the hard work of learning how to be diligent in time management and in time blocking. And that has changed my life. I'm not even kidding you. So if you do not know, if you're an entrepreneur on this call and do not know what time blocking is, I encourage you to go learn about it. Like, there are a lot of articles on there. I should have written them down. I kind of knew I wanted to talk about this tonight. But it's really easy to find, like, simple tools on how to even get started with learning what that is. But the last weekend of the month, I usually take my planner, which I never used to be this way.
Right? Planners.
I wrote things down. I never was like consistent about making sure that, these evenings are going to be the ones that are open to having an appointment with somebody. And these Saturdays are going to be the Saturdays that I shoot photography. And, Tuesdays and Thursdays are the day that I'm going to get a babysitter to be intentional about going to a coffee shop and putting in some hours. And I don't have older kids, but I know a lot of people that tune in do. And so even with after school activities, like making sure that those things are the non-negotiable things are put into the calendar first. That includes rest and sleep and family time and dinner and things that you're not willing to sacrifice as a mom, as all of these things. And then you add in what you can in the margins that are empty. And then, like for me, if I go to a coffee shop and I have 3.5 hours, I know I have a babysitter, and I know that I have a laundry list of to-dos to get done, all within a various like range and scope of things. I'm going to prioritize that list and what needs to get done now, what can be done later, and what's going to take the most time. And so I organize my list, and then I set time to those things. So, for instance, if I have something really small like meal prep, that might not be small for some moms, but for us, I'm really just feeding 2 adults.
Yeah.
Mac and cheese to a baby. So I can usually get that done within like 10 to 15 minutes. So what I do is, for my meal prep and my grocery list, like I just did this today, so it's just a really good example. I'm literally staring at my to-do list that I have crossed off.
I was going to say, do you have a planner that you love? Would you show them that?
Yeah, so this is called the Living Well Planner. I forget who makes this. Let me look on the front and just double check. Living Well. Living Well Spinning. My mother-in-law bought this for me. It was the best Christmas gift I ever got.
Yay. So, here's mine. I do the planner pages. Or wait, is that what it is? Yeah, planner pad. Okay. So this is what most people think of, because I know what you're talking about, Nick. And I want people think of their planner as this. Here's my whole month, right? And here's what happens on the day of the month. But Nicole's talking about this.
Which probably so much better at.
Well, no, because I had to go all the way back to June to find when I'd last had a full week planned out. But that's the idea, is when we're looking at this, we've got our days planned out. Put the big rocks in first, and then put the small things in that fit in the margin, so that it works, so that the most important things get done. Because it's really easy to think, I want to do the easiest thing first. Let's just tick all those off. And then we never get the big activity done that we needed to accomplish. So that's really important to keep in mind. Hold on just a second. Well, then you can sit down while the scary part happens and then go back up, but you have to be silent. Same for you, Ella. All the children who are like, now it's a break in the movie and let me come talk to all of you. But then when you get to your week, like I said, you're missing that very important part of accomplishing the goals, and the big rocks are what move you forward. So keeping in mind that if you've got those non-negotiables, like, hey, every Sunday we're at church, and every Wednesday we've got this going on with the kids, soccer practice, yada, yada. Those big rocks have to get in there. And then your survival things, like when do I go grocery shopping? When do I do the laundry? And no, my schedule never gets accomplished like that, but it does always have room for it. And that's critical, so that you can, yay, you made it back. I was just covering.
You're still
covering.
I lose you and no one else did. That's crazy.
Still talking about our planners. Okay, but then the big rocks first, right? You guys don't know this, but we totally lost Nicole for like 3 minutes there. And then you have room for all the others, because the most important things have to get done, especially in business, or you never move to the next step, the next phase of whatever you have dreamed. In order to reach this grand vision, it's got to have these measurable goals. And any of you who are entrepreneurs, you know about the SMART goals, right? SMART goals. You need those. And then like Nicole is saying, you need time blocking. I don't know anybody who runs more than one business that doesn't time block, because it's just impossible. And if you're running a household, that is a business. So I paused and asked if anybody runs their own businesses. And Heirloom Permaculture says they do. They share Heirloom Permaculture. And Angela's a wellness advocate too. That's awesome, guys. Yes, I hope this is helpful for you. If you guys have other businesses, drop them here. You can even drop the links to them if they're not raunchy. You know what I mean? Nick, what are your oils for that? Like the oils that would go along with your time blocking and your time management?
So, so Mondays are usually, so the end of the month is my monthly grand like theme where I'll write down today at this time is when I will make sure that I'm available for a one-on-one. But Mondays are usually my days that I actually write my to-do list of weekly, like what I need to get done this week. And then I kind of do the whole prioritization thing with Monday, Tuesday, whatever. So I usually start my Monday. I love an oil blend that doTERRA makes. It's called Motivate. It is the most glorious thing that I feel like the Lord ever allowed to be created. It is it's got a lot of citrus, a lot of mint, and for some reason it just hones me in. I don't know. It really does what it says it does, which is motivates me just to like that peppermint that's in there kind of kicks me into like a get it done gear. And then I make my lists and then I kind of transition depending on where I am and what I'm doing into maybe some different oils. So if I'm at home, actually I have a travel one too. If you're into oils, they make some really cool just like travel diffusers that you can stick in your USB in your car, but you can also stick it in your computer. So you could totally like have a little mini diffuser going at your little table at the coffee shop, which is super fun. In that I like to put things like rosemary and peppermint, frankincense, lemon, all are gonna naturally uplift my mood and create more energy and alertness within what I'm doing and how I'm thinking. Intune, I don't know if I mentioned that one, is usually what I kind of gravitate toward as I actually know what I'm about to do and sit down. And so Intune doTERRA makes that is designed strategically to use for focus. Focus support, I forget. I know all I know is patchouli because I just know patchouli isn't in. Patchouli is one of those scents that you either love or you're just not a huge fan of. And I'm in the not a huge fan of category, which is why I know patchouli's in it.
And so I'm the opposite. I'm like, bring on the hippie fun.
Oh yeah. So many of my friends love it. They're like, you don't like this? I'm like, my body chemistry just does love.
Is not in love with it. Yeah. It's got a lot of rich oils in it. Do you want me to read them off?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So it's got amyris, patchouli, frankincense, lime, which is kind of the saving grace of this because it's the only bright oil in all of this. Everything else is pretty heavy. Ylang ylang is very rich floral. And then it's got sandalwood and chamomile. So this is a power pack brain blend. And it's one that a lot of the moms are using. And Katie says, which one is that for? So Intune is the one for focus, Katie. And it's loaded with all of these oils that we really love, especially for kids who have a hard time focusing or paying attention to one task at a time. Or for school, if they come home, this is a great homework oil because it snaps their brain kind of back into this participation mode where we're not zoning off to just sort of shut things down, but we're really able to, or also, like, as I say, or and jump in, we're not shutting down and being passive, but we're also not being distracted, which is very easy for a lot of us with really active brains, especially entrepreneurs, because it's not just what's in front of you, it's what this is going to create, also what it's going to fix from behind. And that's only if you have one business. Most of us have a lot. So this is a great oil to help keep you focused during that. You're totally right. And it's a little, it's not funky. I would hate to say it's funky, but you definitely, if you're not into that hippie, frankincense, like sandalwood smell, this is not your favorite. So what's your alternative for this? Because I know you've got a backup.
Well, no. So I use Intune still because of the benefits that I legitimately have seen it
Through
do
the funk.
day. What I do is I usually just kind of cover it up with like a wild orange or something that I enjoy, like like elevation I really like, and it kind of it does blend well with Intune. But yeah, not to say that it's terrible. It's not terrible. It's just not like I'm not gonna pull Intune and wear it as perfume.
It's heavy. It's dense.
Yeah. But the other alternative that I actually really liked doTERRA came out with last year, even though it's curated for kids, I like the smell of it. I don't know. There's something that I have it right here because I use it on my desk. It's got vetiver, peppermint, clementine, right? Yeah, clementine and rosemary.
It's so bright.
Yeah, it's very bright, and the label's yellow, which makes sense because it totally does. Like, I don't know, there's something in there that's just a little different than Intune. It's a lot more mild. And it is more mild, I feel, in my focus support. Like if I really need to knock some stuff out, I'm gonna put Intune on. But today, like if I'm around the house and I need to get things done around here, I'm probably just gonna throw some Thinker on because,
it smells good and makes you happy.
Yeah. But it still gives the same benefits, just not
it's
increasing measure.
Yeah, it's engaging the brain. It's helping to activate your brain and its communication with the rest of your body. And it's so simple and light. I love the Thinker as well. It's my kids' favorite. They choose that over Intune. And you guys know we homeschool. So it's one of those things where like, yes, any little bit helps. Please go get the Thinker.
Yeah. Please go get the Thinker.
Please go get that oil. Okay, I'm going to look at questions really quick. Maxwell Sullivan asked if we're having one last child. You know what, Maxwell? I cannot tell you if we are or are not. And Bo titled this. He titled this video, "It's Our Last One," because it's our last. This is a good time to pause and include all of you into this. We talked about this with our doTERRA team earlier. All these amazing people who've been bringing you concept and topic after topic on how to use oils practically in your everyday, from education to your kids to your hormones to oils for inflammation and pain, like last week. And people, or the week before, people are just bringing you their area of expertise. And we've been doing that for like 13 or 14 weeks now. So instead of continuing to try and bring fresh new content, we want to refer you back to those videos and then refer you back to these amazing people who are resources. If you're already building doTERRA, stick with the team you got. But if you're not, and you want to be a part of one of these amazing women and what they stand for, then that's why those videos exist, for you to come back to and for you to connect with topics that would be really helpful for you. But in general, like this is what we're doing day in and day out. And we're so thankful for the last few months to be able to give you a glimpse into what it is, not only Better Together Life, right? Because that's really been like the heat of summer. There's not a whole lot of Better Together Life you guys are seeing, but you do get to see into our Better Together doTERRA team. And this is like no joke. These are people that we know. It's not just a team that's so huge that we lose faces and numbers. These are people that are part of our life. And if that's something that you guys want to be a part of too, like there's room. And that's part of what this is get to know Nicole, get to know what it's like to have somebody who runs a lot of businesses and can say, hey, here's how you can strategize this really well to make the most out of your time. And she can say that because she does it, right? Okay, Nick, somebody asked, Karina Riker asked, what do you recommend to study in high school? Any tips for studying?
Sure. Yeah, I actually wrote some stuff down because, well, as I unflipped from the page that I had all of my notes on to show you my planner.
All you
Um,
mamas of big families, this is for you too. I see you out
so
there, guys.
like same similar concepts like we've been talking about with focus.
Mm-hmm.
We I also read an article about and I don't know if maybe Kelly you taught this class a couple of weeks ago with me. But I was reading this article about doTERRA specific oils that they came out with this kids line, this Thinker blend that
Mm-hmm.
we're talking about. For instance, is the Thinker blend. It's
Yeah.
got a white cap and a white label, and the label is kind of textured. And our normal, like everyday human rollers are the same, like
Yes.
the same look as our normal bottles, which are just
Mm-hmm.
that dark glass with a black top. And so what they did that for was to specifically target kids and activating their senses, their five senses, and sight, touch, smell, not taste, but
Four of the five.
yeah, okay. So in so doing, they're touching the same label that, say, for instance, use Thinker
While studying.
as they're studying for the
Yeah.
test that they're taking. Their brain automatically associates the smell that they're smelling from the oil studying, and it jogs memory for when they
Mm-hmm.
actually take the test that they're
Mm-hmm.
taking if they use the same oil during test taking time.
Yeah.
Which I found extremely fascinating. And I
Right.
love it. I just said
Yeah.
how thoughtful that was that their minds associate this sight of this being for them. And, then the smell, like breaking through,
Mm-hmm.
getting in their bloodstream, breaking through blood brain barrier walls, and actually acting memory and
Right.
supporting their brain for focus, and then helping them be better students. Like I cannot guarantee your students going to get better grades by using the Thinker blend, but it is going to be supporting their cells in their body, which do support those areas. And so that's my number one
Mm-hmm.
recommendation. Always going to be for kids specifically in studying are things like Thinker and Intune.
Mm-hmm.
And then just the same thing, the same method is true in diffusing as well. So when you're diffusing things like rosemary and peppermint, they're awakening, creating alertness in their brain, which is going to automatically allow them to focus to
Right.
study better.
Right, right. It's interesting too. We have a lot of tests, especially in Texas. And I don't know what state you're in, Karina, but if there's like anxiousness going on with those tests, then when you're studying, if you can smell something calming or even just something you like, right? Then smell that again when you're going to go to your test. Your brain is firing on all of these senses all the time. And by divine intervention, you're able to focus on the one thing, right? The one thing that's most important. But that doesn't mean right now I don't hear my dog out there. I don't smell the dinner that was going on. I don't have an inch from an ant bite that's distracting me. It doesn't mean these other things aren't going on. But we want to hone in on the most important thing to focus right there. And if stress or nervousness is clouding that, then associate smell now with a smell that you can experience when you're taking that test or when you're taking that time. That can create tension, stress, and nervousness. And that sense of smell is, like Nicole said, going to bring you back to that peaceful, stressless time. So thinking and studying, if you need more retention of that information, go with a Thinker. If it's stress or nervousness, go with an oil that's going to be calming. And Thinker could be that oil for you, just a blend of oils that helps you focus on the task at hand, right? So entrepreneurs, students who will become entrepreneurs or are already, that's your blend, guys.
Yeah, that's good. Good question.
Yeah. What else you got for us, Nicole? This is so good.
Well, so I kind of came up what I was telling you about earlier was a kind of day by day, moment by moment, like practical ways that I use oils on like in the everyday, because a lot of times what I find, my voice fluctuation right now is just crazy. Sorry.
That thing right there.
Um, it's like when you answer the phone and you don't know who you're talking to, you're like, hello. That's how I feel right now. So sorry, everybody.
Then
But
you're like, hey, babe, what are you doing?
so all of that to say, I use oils on the daily. And what I find, um, when I speak to my customers that I sell doTERRA to, or that I help get oils for, is that they'll say, yeah, I have them. I just don't know how to use them.
Yeah.
Or I have them and I don't know, I don't know how I'm going to need any more anytime soon. I already have the 10. That just
Yeah.
already seems overwhelming. But these are simple ways that you can start incorporating oils into your everyday life, if that's you, if I'm speaking to you in that. Because it is a little bit hard and overwhelming when you don't know how to use oils and you already have so much on your plate, to take the time to educate yourself on actually how to start incorporating them into your daily rhythms, can seem overwhelming and daunting. But when you do, the ease of it is easy, and the support that you get from them is so worth it. Like, you don't want to stop, And so it's my first encouragement to any of those who use oils or who don't. Like Kelly said, we can help you get them today. So, or, follow up with us, and then we can set up a one-on-one appointment with you to do that. So, the number one thing that I struggle with is the mornings of getting up and just going.
Wanting to engage, right? Like,
Yeah.
okay, so many things. Where do we start?
Yes. So, I have in the kitchen, I have a diffuser, and I also have a roller bottle that I automatically pop onto my neck, just to help me wake up in the morning before I can get a cup of coffee. Because I will talk about energy support,
Yeah.
but I still love coffee. And if, I'm not going to try to get anybody to not drink it if they like it. I love it. And so it's just one of those things that, like, I just love having in the morning. Like, I'm not like, my day doesn't start without my cup of coffee, but I do like to have it, Like, I
I'm
love
like,
having it. I'll not have it, but I love it. So
coffee in a box. I feel like coffee is an all-day event. I don't feel like this needs to be. However, I will say this, because Bo is so chronically like thinking of the same thing. I think I've told you this, Nicole, but it was so funny. I was working out of the house. He was working in the house. This is before babies. And we were newly married, and he never drank coffee. Well, we got coffee at our house because I drank it. And he started calling me every day to tell me, like, I'd been gone 30 minutes, to tell me like what his ideas are. And I was like, whoa, bro, you need to chill. And maybe we need to cut you into half calf instead of full calf. And we legit did. So for the last 12 years at our house, we have had half calf so I don't worry about if I'm having too much caffeine, because quite frankly, we're just trying to regulate Bo's mind. And that means I can drink it all day. And I like a warm little cozy mug in my hand all the time.
yeah.
So yes, power to the coffee drinkers. If you're a coffee drinker, you need a comment, because I agree. Like, we should stand up for ourselves, even in the face of criticism.
Yes, that's right. Now, I do use tools that allow me not to have like a 3 p.m. cup, because
Right.
just
To
does not
depend on
work.
it.
Yeah, for your sleep. Like, if you are drinking coffee all day, make sure it's decaf, like Kelly said, but also reconsider using other alternatives to get that boost of energy. Because if you are an entrepreneur here and you're maintaining lots of things in life, like, the best place to start is to get a good night's rest. And if you're continually fueling your body with caffeine, it's never going to happen. Like, your mind is not going to shut off. And if it does, it's well past the time that it should, which is going to cause more stress in your life. like less energy for real
Mm-hmm.
the next day, and more brain fog and all of those things. So here's my piece, my doTERRA piece is about, my everyday life of getting up and going is, I have a roller bottle that I have just popped, oils in and made myself, that just wakes up my senses, gets just me the boost that I need to get my kid in a high chair, my husband's lunch made, and the day started. It's peppermint and wild orange and frankincense.
Mm-hmm.
And Tim also uses this as well. He also has one. Tim is my husband. He has one at his desk. So he'll always tell me at 3 p.m., whatever. For some people, it's like 2 or 4. But just that middle of the day, like
Mm-hmm.
lagging energy, popping that on the back of your neck and
Yeah.
on your wrist, it does just awaken, like, you back to aliveness. That's not a word, but I just
Mhm.
made it one.
But vitality.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Speaking of that, so along with that is the vitamin and supplement regimen that doTERRA makes is called Lifelong Vitality.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we'll not go into all of the things that it does, which is literally a laundry list of things.
Mm-hmm.
But that supplement regimen was the gateway for my husband to actually believe that the oils that were sitting on our counter worked and actually
Mm-hmm.
did the things that they were going to do. So I find that fascinating and really cool, because I know a lot of women, wives especially, like buy oils and then they're like, I mean, we're not going to set a monthly budget for these.
Right.
I'm the only
Right.
one that thinks these work, and um, not saying buy Lifelong Vitality for your husbands to try, then they'll believe. It's just
Right.
the more you're using them and introducing them into these rhythms of your life, the ones that you love are going to see that they're actually supporting your body and your mood. And they're going to want to try them. And then they're going to work on them. And then they're going to love them too. just,
Yes.
it really is what it is. Like in our family, that's just how it goes. So I wake up, I roll that roller bottle on my neck, I drop some stuff in the diffuser, kind of depending on how I feel that day. We have like a wine rack in our kitchen that holds all my oils sideways with the label, so I can see
Mm-hmm.
them all, cool for whatever I feel that I need that day or that I'm drawn to.
Right.
Drop it in the diffuser, and then I even rub whatever I like, feel that I need or that I like on my neck. And then depending on what I have going on that day, is just use other things. But the 2 things that I use every day in the morning are that roller bottle of peppermint, wild
So
orange, and
good.
frankincense, and my Lifelong Vitality.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm in work mode, if I'm going to a coffee shop, I'm going to work that day. I'm going to use the tools that we've already talked about, which are Intune, Thinker, Motivate. Those are always in my backpack. I even like peppermint beadlets, like
Mm-hmm.
for also that same boost of energy that I need. It freshens my breath, but it just opens up all of my
And
sinuses. And so it just really,
breathe deeply.
yes, it really causes me to breathe clearly and deeply and just engages my mind to focus and to think what I need to do with the task at hand, kind of thing. For longer days at the computer of designing stuff or editing photo shoots. I know that Bo probably struggles with this too, but I tend to hold a lot of tension in my shoulders just from not consciously, but just working a lot like this or holding baby all day or,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. And so the things that naturally help me release those tensions are past tense. Past tense is amazing. Uh,
It's
so good.
hard to
So good.
describe. It just works.
Yes, it
Put
does.
it where you're achy, you put it where you're tense,
Yeah.
and then it melts.
Oh, it does. It's so true. I had somebody come to one of my classes last week that walked in, was really struggling with the day, and was telling me about just like how, tense she was. And I said, just try this, put it on her shoulders. She totally enrolled that night because of past tense and bought it because it works. It's so good.
That's brilliant.
Yeah. Aroma Touch is also awesome. Just it's a lighter massage blend. Like
Right.
we make a blend and a rub called Deep Blue. And that's for really achy muscles. So if you're really struggling, like if your back and shoulder tension is turning into a headache, like the past tense and Deep Blue is something that I would be grabbing for pretty immediately to.
From this like kind of like hunched position, or even our phones, right? Like you get a lot of tension and neck tension here, which is another thing that the other week when Amber was on, she was talking about like, how this is just our sedentary lifestyle. So that absolutely inhibits the productivity of an entrepreneur. Is like, we don't see how it's all creeping in, and before you know it, you're like half fetal position over your computer. So that rolling up and back, getting up and walking around, it's so beneficial to just break into that it causes us to literally shrink down in our seats.
Yep, it's good. The last thing that will really, all of this kind of culminates together, but brain fog, something I know that I used to struggle with a lot, but I know that a lot of people that I come across and talking with about oils struggle with, especially being an entrepreneur, running businesses, being a mom, doing all the things. You can just, by 5 p.m., literally just be so wiped that you have no mental capacity to have a conversation at the dinner table with anybody because you're just spent. And so things that help me with brain fog are frankincense. Also comes in a touch roller, which has been really great for my brain fog. But the best thing that I've done for that is that Lifelong Vitality supplement regimen, like we talked about, that I take in the morning. It recommends that you take it twice a day. Sometimes I get brain fog and I forget. So lately I've just been doing it all at the same time because I don't want to forget to take half of my supplements. So I've noticed at lunchtime, if I wait to take them at lunch, that I really am able to complete thoughts for a 24-hour period of time. But there are days that, like, especially in the early days of being a mom and still waking up to nurse in the night, I would wake up with a lot of brain fog. And I used Mitotomax, which helped increase my energy and also just made me think more clearly.
Right.
E-Omega X2 or X-E-Omega. How do you say it? I forget.
I always call it Z-Omega. Yeah. It's X-E and then it's Omega. So yeah. And that's any fish oil. But the cool thing about doTERRA is it's fish oil, yes. And if you guys are vegan, there's a vegan option too. So you can still get the benefit of this trio without any of the compromise to your system. We like fish oils. I find it the most effective for me. But it also has essential oils with it. And that's the real big game changer.
Yeah. So Kelly actually recommended this to me a while back with the mom brain fog, was to take one of those. And I've been doing that, and it has been radically life-changing for me.
Yes. Even our kids telling us, like, especially for the need, right? There's the mom entrepreneurs, right? And then you can get into this whole comparison game. But a lot of the times we're working from a deficit, because we haven't been sleeping well, right? And I think it's proven that kids will wake more frequently up until age 6 than they will any other time in your life. So you think you're out of these baby blues at the beginning, but really we're looking like for 6 years. So hang in there, any of you new mamas. But supporting your mental health and your mental function starts with your diet. And to be able to incorporate additional fish oils is only going to help nourish your brain, especially as you're in the midst of fog. But this would go with any type of brain fog that you have. And our midwife was saying like, yeah, you kind of can't overdo the fish oils. So do the fish oils and do it until you find that amount where you're feeling good. And then when you want to, try tapering it back. But fish oils are probably the most critical. And I wouldn't even through pregnancies when I've been off of Lifelong Vitality for a time, I can't wait to get back on it. And it's literally as soon as my baby arrives, I have Lifelong Vitality that very next day or evening, depending on the time of day, because it's just so critical to me feeling like me.
Yeah.
And that's easy to lose in the hustle and bustle of your business or in the hustle and bustle of your household.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah. Basically, I mean, that's my day in and day out, sleeping too. But,
yeah. Tell us about that.
yeah, so, well, okay. So I would be totally straightforward and honest here, but I had a pretty miserable pregnancy.
Mm-hmm.
So sorry.
You're fine.
As in, like, I still oils, was doing the thing, like using peppermint for my nausea, but it just would not kick. And if that's resonating with you, there's also another YouTube. I'm like plugging for you, Kelly, but there's a YouTube with Kelly Couch about pregnancy postpartum that radically changed my mind about to get pregnant ever again. I just thought, oh my gosh, I didn't do any of this. I probably would have felt better if I did.
Yeah.
And being on Lifelong Vitality was one of those things, just prepping your body to do this really hard work that it's supposed to do. And now that I'm on it, I'm a little bit less leery of having another child.
Like you feel like maybe this could happen again. Not today, but maybe.
But I was on all kinds of stuff like Zofran and B6, which is a vitamin, but it's still like I was taking it in like by the bottle. It felt like I was on Unisom, and that Unisom really isn't supposed to be addicting, but I got addicted to it big time to sleep at night. It was one of those things that I just needed to get an what's the word? Like
interrupted
night of sleep. With insomnia or even with a new baby, like I just couldn't sleep without it. And so so then I backed off of Unisom and I started taking melatonin, and I had my Serenity soft gels in my nightstand. And one day, Tim, when he got on the whole doTERRA, train
thing,
he looked at me and he said, if we're going to do this for real, then we need to ditch all the other crap.
Yeah.
So we went around with a basket. I'm not kidding you. I have photo proof of this. We went around with a basket and pulled everything that was not a natural, even if it wasn't doTERRA, because some people will still argue that melatonin is natural. But when your body doesn't know how to produce it on its own, that's when you're consistently taking it. It's not good for you. It's not. And so Serenity soft gels, arguably, you
got it.
I can't do it. What I'm trying to
arguably.
Maybe if I said it in a British accent, it would work.
Anything's better with an accent.
But it's oils, and oils, you can't get addicted on them. Like you can, and like I'm addicted to essential oils, but like not that
on a t-shirt, but your body's not. Yeah, your body's not adapting and saying, I need more of this in order to meet the same functional level, right? Like each time we use an essential oil, your body begins to respond itself. And over time, if you've been using DigestZen after day, you might notice you don't need DigestZen for an upset stomach over time, because your body's begun to restore itself. And that's like the natural, like divine design of the body is in a typical healthy body, it's going to restore itself. And again, we always go back to diet for these things. But you're spot on, is like the Serenity capsules have lavender oil and then amino acids and herbs in them. And it's such a great option for the person who wants to fall asleep more effectively, get a restful sleep that's uninterrupted and restorative. That's a game changer for, I mean, if we just ask people that one thing, like, would you like more restful sleep? I feel like all the hands in the room go up, because you and I right now, it's 9:00. We're sitting in front of a screen with blue light that's interrupting our body's natural rhythm of melatonin, right? Maybe those saucy blue blocker glasses. I should get some of those. I need some. And that's just, and that doesn't mean we don't do these things. It's just that we do them better. We pay attention to your body, which is always crying out to you. And when you have this wired design to do more, I mean, we could have started here with this presentation. The entrepreneur is always looking for how to do more in less time. Work smarter, not harder. Be more effective. Do like Casey Neistat has right there, like work right on his arm. And we want to do more. But the truth is, we want to do more well, and none of us want to suffer long term for this. Not like, let's go into suffering, guys, to sacrifice. But I'm serious. Like, your health shouldn't suffer at the cost of your business growing. So starting at this restorative sleep is ironically the place for the entrepreneur who wants to do more, to be more productive, is to start at what you do with sleep. Do you give yourself a cutoff time from your phone and your computer? Do you put some oils? Like, my favorite sleep combo is Arbor Vitae, vetiver, and lavender in my diffuser, and I sleep like I've never slept before. I found this 4 years ago when we did Diamond Club, and I was running around like a chicken with my head cut off. And then one day my body gave out, and I was like, I can't. And we found this blend, and I put it in, and instantly I was like, this smells like heaven, and I'm going to do this. And over a week's time, I was sleeping better. I was having more energy in the morning to do more productive things. But the lack of sleep meant I was already working from a deficit.
Yeah. That's good. I really like adding copaiba.
Yes.
I don't know how you say it.
Copaiba.
You want to say it.
There's like all the ways to say it. Yes.
Yeah. That oil is the jack of all trades of oils. It's literally the most, that and lavender are the two that we always have on hand. It's what I use every day, every time I have like a flare up, like in my knee hurting from working out too much, or like my brain fog, I just cannot think clearly. Just I drop some under my tongue, swig it down with some water, and I'm good to go. Like, but at nighttime, what I've found that it does for me is my Serenity Gel capsule helps me fall asleep, and stay asleep longer. But getting there, especially being an entrepreneur, your mind is going nuts so crazy at the end of the day. In bed, you're just thinking about all that you didn't get done, and to do tomorrow, and all of the things, and who's lunch, and what of this, and whatever. And what Copaiba does for me is it just really shuts down that anxious list building part of my brain that can't get it together, that just can't shut off. And it just really does help to alleviate that, just that constant, like, go, my brain. It kind of like mellows it out. And then that Serenity being partnered with that really does just help me fall asleep faster. I still have a lot of trouble falling asleep. My husband can hit his head on a pillow and go to bed. I've timed him before 2.5 minutes. And I'm like, what is this skill? I don't have it. I need it. I don't have it. Why can't I have it? So I'm trying all the things. I'm one of those humans that has the yellow blue light blocking glasses, and I look like a crazy astronaut at night. But like those actually do really help if you don't have any of them. And like not being on my phone while I'm laying in bed. All of those
Yeah.
things have been really helpful for me in falling asleep and getting better sleep in order to be more productive and healthier to do all of the things that I do. So yeah, that's what I suggest for sleeping better. And then adding, like, especially during times of year where they're more inclined to be exposed to things like virus, especially right now, if you have kids in school and they're coming home with lots of germs. Number one, putting On Guard on them, on their bottoms of their feet, on their spine,
Yes.
is like a no-brainer. But for you, you're also being exposed to those germs. And so using things like On Guard in a gel capsule form or in that beadlet form is really going to help to support your immune system and to keep you healthier for longer and to do all the things that you love to do, which I'm sure are amazing. And I can't wait to go back and look at all the comments and see what everyone here and what you guys do. It's really fun. Being an entrepreneur and a network marketing, like, everybody loves just to be networking.
Yes.
And so I'm excited to follow some of these people on platforms and all that stuff. So thanks for being here.
That's awesome. Yeah, we can shout out to a couple of them. We've got Katie, who's in Beauty Counter. We love that. And Crystal Creek Farm runs a 24/7 maintenance company, which must definitely be intense for sure. And if you guys are just jumping on and you want to share your business link or your business info, the chat is open, guys. And then it shows up on this video for months and months and months, as long as it's up. So this is your way to put on your permanent business card right here on this video. And then people can come back and check it out. So I always think it's fun. If you're not using your influence well, what the heck do you have it for anyways, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Nick, this is great. Like, I'm ready to work tomorrow with some Motivate in the morning. This was a thing when we lived in our house. Like, we were putting Motivate in the diffuser and setting it like at night and setting it on the first thing we did in the morning when we got into the office. And now we don't have an office and we just forget to set a morning diffuser with our intention for the day, right? Even homeschooling, like, we need to set a morning diffuser with our intention for the day, switch it out in the afternoon to something else, and then wind down with, your copaiba and lavender blend or something that just sings to you. Find the aroma that helps, because now you know how aroma unlocks the brain to be more productive, to be less stressed, to feel more prepared, right? It's more than scent. This is solution. This is a solution for the problem, whether it's just a tummy trouble or it's something that is so important for you to keep for your mind. If you've been given a vision for your business, if you've been given resources for it, then they're yours to steward well, and that includes your mind. So do that well as the entrepreneur who says yes to what they've been created to do, especially in the realm of doing what you love. How many people do we know that are miserable in jobs that they hate, to buy things that drive them crazy and are overwhelmed with stuff, all to impress other people? This is your time to make it work. And you can do it with or without essential oils. But if you choose to do it with oil, I want to help you. Just from successful standpoint, Nicole is top on our team, just helping, gosh, you're at 7 families this month get oils into their home because you knew that it was going to change their life. And if you guys want to get in touch with Nicole and see more about the brand that she's talking about, the designing that she does, the businesses that she runs, you got to find her on Instagram at Holistic Homestead or Holistic Home. I'm going to write that down. So many homesteaders, right?
Maybe
Holistic Home on Instagram. And we can email you at what, Nicole?
It's the same, Holistic Home Texas at gmail.com. But holistic is spelled
right.
WHOLE.
Like whole.
Yeah. On my Instagram profile, you can find my links to all of the things that I do.
All of the things. So we put both of those in the comments. You guys can find Nicole there. And as always, if you guys have your oils already, this whole point is to get them off of your shelves and into your hands. Start using your oils today. You do not want them to become expensive pay just your shelf. And if you don't have oils and there was something that stuck out to you tonight, whether it was a question that you had that just didn't come into the chat, or something more specific that you'd like to talk with Nicole about, send her an email and she'll set up a one-on-one, which is not scary, guys. I promise. She's going to do 3 things. She's going to talk about your health goals, what's most important to you, and something you would like to use an essential oil form if it were a natural option that you had access to. The second is she's just going to tell you what's different about doTERRA and why it's better than what you're using already. And the third is that she's going to help you find oils that meet those needs. And there's no pressure to buy, like for real. You guys know us by now. There's no pressure to buy, but if you do see something you need, she's going to help you get it when you talk. And she's going to tell you about the promos that are going on. So don't wait, because there's really good promos going on this month. And I'm sure Nicole is very open to helping not just 7, but 10 people get started this month. And if you join Nicole's team, you're on our team too, and you get access to all of our exclusive membership overviews where you get a personal one-on-one, or our oil camp that we send everybody to. And I know a bunch of you in the comments have loved oil camp. That's exclusive to our team. So who you get started with definitely matters. And I don't know if you can get started with someone quite as fine as Nicole. So thank you, Nicole, for being on here tonight. Thank you for being part of our team and for sharing this, because I think it's such a cool topic that I wish more people talked about.
Yeah. I mean, I honestly, when you asked me to talk about it, I was like, I don't know how we're going to turn that into an hour. And then I started writing things down and I was like, oh yeah.
Oh wait, yeah. Like this is exactly how you would chat with some business or a case, or even as a VA and worked from home. Like this is exactly how you would coach them in oils for that. And I just love it. I'm waiting for your next e-course, and it's going to be all about oils in the entrepreneur. It's going to be great.
That's a great idea.
All right, guys. Thank you for being on. One more thing to your list, but take that Copaiba first.
Yeah, right.
Thanks for being on, guys. And thank you for joining us week after week. We hope that this, like, being our very last one, doesn't leave you hanging, but it gives you time to go back and really absorb all the incredible expertise that has been shared with this group over the last few months, and that you would send your referrals there. When your mom asks you about oils and inflammation, you send her to that video, and then she gets in touch with us and we help her get started with oils, because nobody likes to just sit in the dark when someone next to them has a solution. And if you've got that solution for them, help them get started. That's exactly why you were put in that position in the first place. So thank you guys again. Thank you, Nicole. Y'all have a great week. I hope Mondays have become the best part of your week. It's better together because you guys are here. So we'll see you on the podcast, and we'll see you on the regular videos that Bo's posting with different projects. Lord willing, we will drop below 3-digit degrees in a very short time so that we can get outside and start doing more projects and share those with y'all. So thanks again, Nicole. I could not have chosen a better, very final guest than you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night, guys.